everybody, welcome. My name is Ashley. We'll be doing a short yoga practice today. Remember, when we do yoga that we listen to our bodies. We only do what feels comfortable. We're able to rest or modify poses as you choose. So I invite you to start. You can in a seated position. You can sit on your heels like I am here, or you can cross your legs. We'll go ahead and close our eyes. You're welcome to put on music in the background if you like. We're going to just start with a nice quiet sit, breathing through the nose, taking a little bit deeper breath here, and a little bit deeper breath. Think about drawing the breath into the upper chest, then the bottom of your rib cage, then the bottom of your belly. And when you exhale, slowly release it, taking as much time as it took to inhale to exhale. And again, as you inhale to the chest, think about expanding front and back, side to side. As you inhale to the ribs, same thing, front and back, side to side, and belly, everything fills. And then you exhale slowly. And we'll do that 2 more times on our own. Choosing to breathe deep and long with your own rhythm. And anytime we do breath work, if it feels uncomfortable, please stop and just breathe normally. Eyes still closed if that feels good. Last round here. Resuming your natural breath when you're ready. We'll open our eyes and we'll give our shoulders a roll them forward, up and back. Do that several times. You can let your arms move with the movement. And then we'll just go the other way. So think about up, forward, down and back, rolling them out the other direction. Nice, releasing the shoulders. We'll do our left shoulder, both directions. Really trying to maximize this movement, of course, comfortably. And then we'll do our right shoulder, going in both directions. It doesn't matter if you start the same direction as me or not. Just go both ways. Good. And then sitting tall, we're gonna, if you're not cross-legged already, go ahead and come in a cross-legged sit. Remember, if it's not comfortable for you to sit here with your bottom on the floor, you could take yourself a pillow or a blanket, roll it up underneath you and elevate your hips a little bit. And that can sometimes make the legs a little bit more comfortable. Good, we're gonna find cat-cow seated. So we'll start with our hands either on our thighs or at our ankles. And we'll move into cow by pressing the heart forward, lifting the chin, gazing up towards the ceiling at the same time, broadening across the front of your chest and squeezing your shoulder blades together. And you inhale as you move into cow. And then when you're ready, we'll move into cat by rounding the spine, kind of rolling across the tailbone, pulling the belly button in and tucking the chin to the chest and exhaling as you move into this position. And then we'll go back and forth, inhaling into cow, exhaling into cat. And again, I invite you to do this with your own body's rhythm. Hands can be anywhere that you like. You can make this as big or as small as feels comfortable. Good. When you're ready to come back to center, finish off with your cat to be nice and even and sit nice and tall. We're going to take our hands to our shoulders, lift our elbows up, and we're going to turn to the left and to the right. Just twisting back and forth, turning the body, turning to look over towards the left and over towards the right. And if you wanted to go faster, you could. Just warming up the spine, the core. Good. And breathing. Nice. When you're ready to, we'll come back to center. We'll place our right hand down, our left hand up, stretching the left hand up towards the ceiling, reaching the fingers in opposite directions. If you're on the floor with your sit bones, you can press that right hand into the floor a little bit more. You can stay right here, just reaching straight up toward the ceiling, or you can draw the fingertips across the ceiling and over towards the right side of the room. You could look forward, you could look up, stretching the side waist, pressing your left hip into the floor. You can also look down. Look where it feels good for your neck. Don't add strain. Relax into this. And coming through center, we'll take that left hand up, place it down. We'll take the right hand up, stretch it towards the sky, and reaching in opposite directions. And I invite you to stay here or draw the fingertips across the ceiling and look where it feels good for you to look. And breathe, of course. When we're in a yoga class, we try to keep the breath flowing. If we're feeling the need to hold our breath in a pose, that's just our body's way of saying, maybe we back out of it a little bit. When you're ready, we'll come back to sitting tall, and we'll give ourselves a little bow, taking the hands in front of us and just bowing forward. It doesn't have to be far, maybe tucking in the chin, or maybe going a little bit farther, depending on what feels comfortable for you, surrendering towards the floor. Then we'll walk our hands back up, and we'll take that pillow out from underneath us if we were there, and we're going to lay on our backs. Good. So lying on our backs, we're going to tuck our knees into our chest. Good. So as we tuck the knees into the chest, I invite you to hold on your shins or the back of your legs and really squeeze the knees into the chest and flatten the back out onto the floor. Think about back of the head resting, the back of the shoulders pressing, the back of the ribs, the tailbone, all pressing, flattening down into the mat. And you're welcome to stay still or find a little movement. And basically that idea of staying still or finding movement is true for every one of our poses. Everything we do, you can move in it or you can be still, depending on what feels best for your body. Nice. All right. So we're going to come into a little dead bug, a little core work. So we're going to take our knees and we're going to draw them directly over our hips. You're not going to be able to see my feet, but just know that I'll tell you where they're going. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the right arm and the right leg and we're going to stretch them away from each other, reaching as far forward with the foot and as far overhead with the hand as feels comfortable, keeping the belly core, the core pulled in and the back pressing down to the floor. The opposite arm, left hand, knee and left hand directly above their joint. And then drawing those back up, overhead, relaxing and switching sides. So the left arm and the left leg are reaching in opposite directions, overhead and towards the front of the room or the other end of your mat. And then bringing them back in. And we'll do this with our breath. So we'll inhale and lengthen. Exhale and bring them back to their original position. Inhale and lengthen. Exhale and bring it back, and then just go back and forth just like we did earlier, lengthening and moving with your own breath, your own rhythm of your body. The belly stays in and the back stays pressing to the floor. If it's too much to reach the hand and the leg at the same time, you can simply reach the legs. And keep the hands just directly over their shoulders, reaching for the ceiling. And we'll finish off with the second side. And we'll tuck our knees back into our chest and rock ourselves side to side. From here, we're going to come to a standing position. So you could rock forward and back and roll up onto your feet, or you could rock to one side and press your way up to a stand. Okay. However you get there is perfect. In our standing position, we're going to turn our palms forward, we're going to press our shoulders down, and we're going to stand nice and tall. This is Mountain Tadasana pose. We're going to come into a balance. We're going to bring all of the weight into our right leg. We're going to bend the left knee. We're going to turn the left knee out to the side. And then we're going to draw the bottom of our left foot onto our right ankle. And we're going to be as light as we can in this left leg. We're going to ground the right leg into the floor, pull the belly in, and become a little bit taller. Think about pressing the side of this leg towards midline. In fact, squeezing the core towards midline to really help you with your balance. And find a spot on the floor to glue your eyes to. Options for your arms Arms can be out wide, arms can be hands at heart, arms can grow overhead. Decide what's best for your hands. See if you can hold them there, and then if you'd like, you can move the foot up. Calf, knee, thigh. As long as you're not pressing and hurting somewhere with your foot, it's fine. And then be still, of course. If you sway or rock, that's okay. We'll release the hands first, then the leg that's off the floor, and we'll give ourselves a little shimmy and a shake. You can sway side to side if that feels good. Standing back in our nice tall position, we'll come into the other side, so the weight in the left leg. Right knee bends, we turn the foot out to the leg out to the side, we bring the bottom of the foot onto the left ankle or so, we stand taller, we press more into the left leg. Moving our hands anywhere that feels right today. Maybe moving the leg. Gluing our eyes to a single spot on the floor and finding your balance. Of course, we try to do the same position on both sides. Finding some stillness. And then when you're ready, release the hands, release the legs, and again, shimmy and a shake. We're going to do a couple standing poses. So when you're ready, find your stillness first. We're going to step our legs out wide. We're going to take our left foot and we're going to turn it towards the front or the short end of the mat. We're going to keep our right foot facing the long end of the mat. We're going to take our hands up, same height as our shoulders. We're going to reach over the left leg, place our left hand down, place our right hand up, and we've moved into triangle pose. So your feet may want to be farther apart. You can heel toe them farther apart or just scooch them farther apart. We want both legs to be long and straight. We want this front knee to be slightly bent. So we don't want to be pressing into the back of the knee. We want this bottom hand to be light. And we can look up. We can look to the side. We could look down. Try to get this top hand directly over the bottom hand. Good. And breathe. When you're ready, we're just going to come up and switch sides. So go ahead and bring your arms up parallel to the floor and just simply switch your feet. So the left foot faces the long end of the mat, the right foot faces the short end of the mat, the other side of course. Lengthen and widen across the shoulders or across the chest, and then lean over the right leg. Pressing the right hand lightly on the leg, reaching the left hand right up to the sky, trying to get the hand directly over the other. So they're one on top of the other. We can look up, we can look to this side, we can look down. We breathe here, we press strongly into the feet. Both legs are straight. When you're ready, we'll come back up and we'll find 5 pointed stars. So we'll turn both feet to the long side of the mat. We'll reach the hands up to the top corners of the room and we'll take up space. Broaden the chest. You can look up a little bit if that feels good. You can look down. Then we're going to draw the hands all the way overhead and bring them down to our hearts. We're going to turn our toes out to maybe 11 and 1 o'clock on the clock, and we're going to bend our knees, coming into a little bit of a goddess squat. As we bend our knees, we try to keep our body upright so the shoulders are staying over the hips so that we're not leaning too far. We're not leaning forward at all, actually. We're only going as far as feels good for the legs. We're trying to press into the inner thighs so that the knees stay over the ankles or so. You're welcome to move, to sway, to practice depth and non-depth in this pose, or you're welcome to stay deep. You choose. Option to add the arms. You would take the arms out wide, bend the elbows, and open across the chest. The arms are bent like goalpost arms, and you could come deeper. You could come a little bit out. You choose what feels good for you today. Good. Last breath here. And coming back into that 5-pointed star, we straighten the legs, we turn the toes to the long side of the mat, we straighten the arms, and we broaden our chest. Maybe we look up. Good, we're going to flow down to the floor. So we're going to take our hands to our hips. We're going to press the legs strongly into the floor by grounding the hands into the hips and imagine the energy shooting down the legs into the feet. making our torso to the top of the head a little bit lighter and a little bit longer. And then hinging at the hips, we're going to fold over the legs. You can stop about halfway, pressing the hands into the thighs. Make sure that your knees are slightly bent. And you can think about crown of the head forward, tailbone towards the back of the room, and you can stay here. Or you could release the hands to the floor. The arms can hang like empty sleeves. You'll tuck your chin so the top of your head faces the floor, and you can bend your knees if you need to. If you're feeling a lot of tension on the back of the legs and the back of the knees, that is your body's cue to bend the knees a little bit. Of course, the knees can be almost straight. And just as before, you can move, or you can stay still. Nice. Wherever you are, you are. Breathe into this. And then I'm going to invite you to come down. So all of us are going to bend our knees. If you're folded forward over the floor and your body is parallel to the floor, bend your knees more. Maybe you have a block and you can place your hands on the block, or maybe you can just bend your knees and bring your hands to the floor. And we're going to just lower ourselves down, one knee at a time. You're welcome to sit on your heels. If that doesn't feel comfortable, you can sit with your legs out in front of you. Wherever we are, we are. We're going to take our hands to our hearts. We're going to tuck the chin. We're going to close the eyes. If you have time for Shavasana, I invite you to come down onto your back, laying down and resting for as long as you can. If you don't have time for Shavasana, we're going to spend a moment here, hands to heart, eyes closed, slowing down the breath. Noticing how the body feels. Pressing the thumbs a little more into the heart. Tucking the chin and opening the eyes. And here we are. Namaste. Thank you for practicing with me today.